Hey y'all, it's Callie and welcome back for another video. I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt because it's spring break for me, so I'm actually at the beach right now. I'm pre-filming a whole bunch of videos right now, but today I'm going to be doing my March book haul. I have been trying to buy more hardbacks and I think I was successful this month. I ended up buying a total of 13 books, 6 of them being paperbacks and 7 of them being hardbacks, so I have kind of achieved that goal. I'm going to start off with the paperbacks I got this month. First, I got Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. I believe this is like a reimagined World War II or I. I'm not exactly sure. I know it's kind of steampunky and a bunch of people really liked it. It was written a really long time ago, so I'm not really sure. I haven't heard a whole lot about it, but it was offered to me for free, so I figured I would pick it up. It's such beautiful condition and there is art throughout it, which is really intriguing to me. So it's just really cool sounding and I am really interested in this one. Next, I got Some Kind of Happiness by Claire Legrand. I don't know what that's about. I haven't heard of this one. I've heard of Claire Legrand because of Furyborn and the other book that she came out with, Slumber Girls maybe? It was some sort of like mystery thriller that she came out with I think a year or two ago that a bunch of people really loved. This seems like it's magical realism. I can't really remember, but this cover is absolutely stunning and Claire Legrand's supposed to be an amazing author, so I really can't wait to pick this one up. There's this like crown in the middle of the forest, and then it's got the forest and then a random person standing in the middle of this field. So it just, based on the cover, is just really pretty and really intriguing. I'm super excited to get to it. Next, I have a really old beat up copy of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Quite a few of my friends recently read this for a class. I'm taking a different class, so I didn't have to, but this is kind of like a near future world where there's a fertility issue, and so not very many women are able to conceive children, and so the few women that are kind of just, their sole purpose is to have children. And I think this is kind of like the women overthrowing the government or something like that. Just kind of rebellion against this terrible, awful idea. I know this is getting a sequel this year or next year. I can't really remember, but it was recently released that it would have a sequel and I'm super excited because I've heard nothing but amazing things about. Next I have The Last Little Blue Envelope by Maureen Johnson. This is just a fluffy contemporary. I'm not really sure what it's about. I think it might be, it's about this girl who spent her summer traveling in Europe, and then when she gets back she realized she lost a bag, and then a little while later a boy from London lets her know that he found her bag, and I think it's probably going to be a love story between the two of them and kind of what comes of the letters. It sounds kind of similar to All the Boys I've Loved Before, but completely different at the same time. I'm just super intrigued and it looks super cute. Next, I got a copy of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I read this last year for my American literature class. I absolutely loved it. I think this was the first time I've really loved a classic. I just really enjoyed the comments he made and just everything that was going on. It was just such an atmospheric book and I loved reading about the time period and all the drama and scandal, and it was just so interesting to read. I absolutely loved it. The last paperback I have is After You, the sequel to Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I think this follows the main female character after the events of Me Before You and just kind of her coping with what happened and just kind of figuring out how to go about life. I'm not really sure what else beyond that. I just know that much. The first hardback I got was Flamecaster by Cinda Williams-Chima. I really want to read more Cinda Williams-Chima, but I need to accrue more of the books that are in her series because I think it's kind of like the Shadowhunters where they all kind of connect. So this is the first in the Shattered Realms series. I think the last one either just came out or is about to come out soon. These covers are all stunning and I've heard so many great things from Reagan at Peru's Project and Brittany from Brittany the Bibliophile. I just can't wait to get a hold of the rest of the books so I can dive on into this series. The next hardback I have is Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is pretty much what brought on my book outlet haul that I got. I got most of the hardbacks. I bought only hardbacks on book outlet. And this is the third book in the Diviners series. The Diviners is a 1920s story about like some paranormal murder mystery, and it's got a little bit of magical realism, it seems to me. It's just so good and so intriguing, and I've never really before seen this in a bookstore. I've never really been able to find it, and when I saw it was there for like $7, I had to snatch it up. I just cannot wait to find out what happens with all of the characters that we follow. This book series is so diverse, and it's so refreshing to see in history, especially at a time where it was not necessarily conventional to see all of this diversity in like popular things. The next book I got was super exciting. It's the 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones. This was on book outlet for like $9. And it's so pretty. I have seen it in stores and just was like, couldn't justify it. And I had to. It was so beautiful, and it's got art throughout, and just, it's stunning. And I'm collecting Shadowhunter books anyways. I couldn't resist. I had to pick it up because this is so beautiful and just so amazing. This is the first in the Shadowhunters Chronicles. This is the first in the Mortal Instruments series. It is about a girl who is living in New York City, and she finds out that there might be another world that her mom might not be telling her about, and she is just delved in instantly into the craziness and the war and just everything that's going on in this secret hidden world. Next we have Extras by Scott Westerfeld. I believe this is kind of like a short story collection or just like extra content from the Ugly series. I have the rest of the series, and this was the only one I needed, and it was like $4 or $5, and I just couldn't resist picking it up. I haven't started it yet, but I believe it's a world where like you have to be pretty, or you can have like surgeries to become more pretty. I'm not really sure. I was just going to kind of go into it blind, but this is the last book I needed in the series. Also from book outlet, I got Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the second book in the Arc of the Scythe series. I think the third one is coming out either later this year or next year. This follows the two main characters of Scythe and what happens after the events of Scythe, and I just cannot wait to find out what happens to them. And this was so pretty. It's just such a pretty color on the inside too. Like, oh, I love that color. So pretty. Then I have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Briggs. This is the first in the Miss Peregrine's series. This is just, I know I hauled a copy last month, but I got the hardback for free and I just couldn't resist, especially since I'm trying to collect more hardbacks. I just absolutely cannot wait to get to the series. I've heard so many great things, and it sounds really intriguing, especially with all of the pictures littered throughout and just the beauty of this book. Like, I just can't wait. A bunch of pictures like these are on it. I have just heard amazing things about this series, and I can't wait to dive into it. And lastly, I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is the hardback copy. I have a paperback copy, but the rest of the series was in hardback, so I have the rest of the series in hardback, so I couldn't resist when I had the chance to get this for free to complete my beautiful set of the Red Queen series. I didn't love, but I didn't hate the series, so I figured I might as well pick this one up and I can get rid of Red Queen, send it on to someone else who might enjoy it. And this is a series about a world where people are divided by the color of their blood. It's either red blood or silver blood. Silver bloods have powers until they find out that there's a group of red bloods who have magical powers as well. And it's kind of the war between what's going to happen. The reds are terribly mistreated in this world, so it's kind of the struggle for who's gonna win power, and the series overall was pretty decent. The first book especially is like a giant mix of a bunch of other YA stories, and fantasy and dystopian. So if you would feel like you were reading something you've already read, I might not pick this up, but if you would like a mix of all of them or a lot of them together, this might be one you would want to pick up. So those were all 13 of the books that I got this month. I have done pretty good considering the last few months I've gotten at least twice that, and I'm trying to slow down on my book buying and receiving so I can kind of get through my TBR shelf. This entire shelf is books I haven't read. I've recently been really motivated to read more, to just like up my game in a lot of ways, so I'm super excited to get into all of these books. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!